Hello everyone, and welcome back to Heretic, where today we'll be playing episode 6 on the Black Plague difficulty, getting all kills and secrets. And to go there, you just start in any episode on the Black Plague difficulty. Type in Engage 61, or if you are playing on GZDoom, map E6M1 in the console, which does effectively the same thing. And that brings us to Raven's Lair. I have very well prepared these videos, don't worry about it. Where we are in a map that looks kind of like the Raven headquarters of the time. So everything's gonna look like a pretty regular office building for as far as they could manage. So first we're gonna go into the bathroom, where a couple of saber claws and an ophidian are waiting for us, sitting next to the mirrors of this bathroom, the water fountains and whatnot. Mostly I'm going into this room to get myself some kills, obviously, because we do want to get all kills and secrets, but also one phoenix rod shot, but also these gauntlets of the necromancer. Because our ammo situation is not amazing right now, and it's just nice to have these. Go to the other bathroom to kill some more saber claws, yet another ophidian in the back again, couple of gargoyles and a backpack sitting on this toilet right here. And I'm just going to take care of this ophidian like this as well. I'm not really too concerned about my health, although that I have 1 health. Maybe I should be a little concerned about my health. There we go. Just need to get myself to an area where I can get this Tome of Power combined with these wonderful gauntlets. And I guess I'll use 1 flask. We're going to get 1,000,000 flasks in this level anyway, so I shouldn't really worry too much. And with this Tome of Power, gonna go through the hallways here, get some of my health back on these fire gargoyles, hopefully, and just buzz my way forward. Over here is a door that leads to some golems and a shield, so that's a lot of health for us, and yet even more gargoyles that we can very easily fight like this. And using other weapons right now is just not very great due to the amount of ammo that we have, but this very clearly gets rid of just about everything rather easily anyway, due to the fact that we're mostly fighting golems and whatnot, so don't worry too much about it. Now there's a couple of oddities in this map, and I guess simply the way how you get here alone is kind of odd already, but sometimes doors close behind you and you can't open them again, they're just Raven logos. Sometimes there's a fire mace here, but not this time, so that's kind of unusual. But this one you can open, and I think this one you can open as well. Not entirely useful, but I mean you could do it if you want. Going through that whole area also opens up this door and this door. If we go through this door, we can kill 1 ghost golem and get a phoenix rod. But watch out for the undead warriors waiting for us over there. Fortunately, we can still open the door on this side of the room. It would be a little bit inconvenient if we couldn't. But at the same time, life's a surprise in this map, so you get what you get. But with that, moving on, we now have a phoenix rod and a whole bunch of stuff. We can go to the receptionist waiting for us at the office here. I did not look at a map of the Raven headquarters of the time, I'm gonna be real, but I'm just gonna assume this is the secretary's area. And over there is a manager waiting for us, trying to hit us with tornadoes and whatnot. Mostly ice projectiles right now, it seems. And there's one waiting for us in this room also, so definitely watch out for those, because they can be rather tedious. Over here is a bunch of desks, but fortunately this desk has some steps next to it, so you can more easily climb it at your leisure, so that is wonderful. We can get a shield, we can get these bolts if we so desire, but you can also just lower the desk, so why would we bother? Watch out for the many nitro golems there, and go up this small ledge to get a crossbow, which is rather useful against the many golems waiting for us up there. And there is also yet another Iron Lich in this room, but I think that he's probably either stuck against a wall somewhere or just hasn't seen us yet. But I feel like I went far enough back into the room that the Iron Lich would have seen us, so I'm a little concerned. But due to the fact that I'm not dead yet, I'm just gonna assume that everything's just going great right now. And do not worry about a thing. Only so many golems are outside, fortunately. Eventually there is an end, but it just takes a while. Let's use some more flasks. Like, flasks you can really just use as much as you want. It really doesn't matter too much. I'm actually kind of curious how you would normally get this, but I think you can actually just climb one of these desks probably. I didn't really prepare this very well, I'm not gonna lie. You can lower a whole bunch of things, but not everything. So it can be rather easy to forget stuff, but that's just me. So over there is the Iron Lich that I was talking about previously. Kind of surprised. I really did think I would run far enough back into the room, but I guess I didn't. He shot 2 tornadoes, and that's a little bit of a tedious situation because I kind of want to wait here to... I guess I could just use the tornadoes? No, the tornadoes disappeared instantly. Because there is a flight power up there, and there's really no place to fly to in this map, so you can mostly just use it to get on top of desks easier, so that's nice. Over here we have 2 rather unusual looking pillars, and if you touch the right one, the left one lowers, and if you touch the left one, the right one lowers. There's a shadow sphere there, but nothing that requires a shadow sphere. I guess there's 4 enemies waiting for us behind these 2 closets, which I suppose you could use the shadow sphere on if you so desire, but a phoenix rod works just as well. So pressing this button is going to open up a door all the way back here, and there is yet more flasks waiting for us on top of this closet. This one you have to hit the non-lit up area, whereas the other closets you have to hit the lit up area to lower it. Because why not? But with that ring of invincibility we can go through these remaining areas. There can be a fire mace right here, so that's fun. One more closet that you can lower, and a desk that you can lower as well in this meeting room, I'm just going to assume. With yet another Tome of Power. You really do get every power-up in the world in these levels, and makes it nice and relaxing. Which is nice, because the second level of this episode is a complete nightmare, so just be ready for that. For now, moving on ahead. Did I go in here? I'm gonna assume I did, but yeah, okay, definitely did. Over here, the fire mace can spawn as well, and here, I think. And over here we have a pretty large amount of regular golems, so to get some rain going, most of them are going to die pretty quickly here. And since we still have that Tome of Power, we can go to the one and only Molitor waiting for us on the other side of this large courtyard and use our classic Ring of Invincibility flamethrower combination combined with a large quantity of fire golems shooting him in the back the entire time as well. It deals a pretty significant amount of damage and it clears the area rather quickly. And if need be, you can always use a second Tome of Power since we still have one available as well. So all in all, I'm not really too concerned about what's going to happen here. Make sure you actually kill all the enemies here. Golems have a tendency to just go for a run outside here because this area is rather large. A lot of infighting potential. But I think we have just about killed everything that we can kill here, so that is lovely. Moving on ahead, there is a door here that brings us to a fire mace. And also a whole bunch of irregular gargoyles. Very spooky. And opening up this door is, I believe, also going to open up the exit and a couple other doors. Gives us an egg, so we can use that against him. We can use his Tome of Power against these remaining 2 disciples, so that's nice. I guess it's 3 disciples. And there is yet another gargoyle here, and that is just about it. Yep, that's everything that this map has to offer. It's a cute little thing. As a map, it kind of works. It's more just like a fun little, this is our office map. The next episode, however, or the next mission rather, is a bit more complicated. And that's where we're going right now. Episode 6, Mission 2, The Water Shrine, also known as the Ruined Temple. Now this is one of the prettiest levels in the game, but it also only has 2 enemy types, which is Disciples of Despair and Fire Gargoyles. So starting off, we are just going to run around with our nice little crossbow, wake up everything that we can, try to get everyone moving around as much as possible, and press this button, and then continue moving on as much as possible, grabbing everything that we can think of, and getting everything to move all over the place. Really, I'm just trying to get everyone to move slightly so I can go through this teleporter, grab this dragon claw, and hopefully not die in the process. Get a shield to the left, kill some gargoyles in this rather dark passageway, and just have a whale of a time. There's a pretty decent amount of health here, so you can just spam the crossbow. The fire mace can spawn here, and we can just sort of sit here quite safely because the disciples can't actually follow us into this area. grab a whole bunch of hourglasses that we will be using in a second from now. And yeah, this entire area is filled with rapids, so if you're not moving, you're just being pushed back the entire time. If you run out far enough, you get stuck. You can't really go back in because the disciple will block your path and you'll die. So really try to play this somewhat careful, but at the same time, if you're too far back, the hourglasses isn't like they're not gonna hit, so you need to be semi-careful for this area. But provided that you wait a little bit for them to converge back at the entrance, you should be okay with just doing this a couple times and deal a decent amount of damage to the various disciples here. And that was all of our hourglasses, so hopefully we can take the rest down with the fire mace. They should have all taken a decent amount of damage at this point, so they should usually die reasonably quickly from this point on. And of course we still have the crossbow as well on the elven wand, so we should be entirely okay. There's a pretty decent chance you're going to get a Tome of Power from this because of the sheer amount of disciples that are at the start here. So that's nice. But to give you an idea of how many disciples this map has, is it has 79. And the thing about that is that episode 2 had 74 in total. So it's just a lot of disciples. Like the second most is like 28 or something, maybe 30. Like it's definitely not even close to the amount of disciples that you're fighting in this level. So you really need to know how to handle your business when it comes to dealing with the Disciples of Despair on this map. I'm gonna go back at the start to deal with this bag of holding. There's a teleporter here which we can reach later, which is kind of useful. It has its uses. And there's a button right here which you can press to open up the next area. But first, we are going to go to the left side of this water area. And there's probably still a disciple alive right here because I never really go far enough into this area. And before you know it, he'll be dead. We can kill a couple of gargoyles in this dark area as well. And I've just realized how many times I've said the word area in a row. And it's making me uncomfortable. But watch out for the disciple that's clearly still alive because I can hear it. And then get the... wow, I'm real good aim. Get the Tome of Power. And also the Fire Mace can spawn in this room as well. So with that taken care of, I'm actually just going to go around this area as well. Really starting to get in your head when you say the word over and over again, but don't worry about it. Got another flask, and that's the main reason we went there. And with that, we can go to the next location. Get some more ammo for the Dragon Claw. And move on, because that button that we pressed earlier down there has opened up these two walls. And there is a couple more disciples waiting for us over here. And with a couple, I mean, this is the second hard battle of the map. And you can take this very carefully, but I do like making a mess of things, so let's see if we can have some fun. I'm gonna use a Tome of Power here. I waited a little bit. The Fire Mace can spawn behind that window, and we got another Tome of Power from a disciple, so that's nice. And you can use this to go back up here again, because you jump down to actually reach this place. And you're basically stuck otherwise, but you can use that to not be stuck, and that's nice. Just gonna use a powered up Dragon Claw here for a second to deal with the largest part of them all, because I have died in here as well. There is just so much stuff. If you move forward here, you can see even more disciples. There's a couple of them behind a fake wall in this stained glass area. There's just so much. It's just so much. But before you know it, you get to a reasonably safe location and you can just start picking them off, and then it won't be so bad. You just really need to be aware that there are a couple of them behind the fake wall right there, and you can usually just shoot like over here, and provided that the auto aim just keeps shooting up, it means that there's still a couple of them alive because they're all just going to try to go to the edge there. It's just a little inconvenient that when they are invisible temporarily, that they won't actually, like, the auto aim is not going to shoot them. So it's not the most consistent method, but it gets the job done. There's still one alive, yeah. Probably still, I don't think I heard it die, but At the same time, I'm not too concerned. Gonna use a flask, grab some ammo. And there is a kind of secret phoenix rod in this room, but it's in a flashy place, so I'm going to go get a torch first, which we can get slightly further up ahead, because if you go down here, you can continue into this cave system. Really trying to avoid the word area at this point. It's really gotten stuck in my head, but don't worry about it. Kill a bunch of fire gargoyles and use a flask from time to time, and eventually we'll reach the edge of this place. It's a little flashy here, so keep your eyes closed, I suppose, but it's not too bad. Just a lot of fire gargoyles in these caves as well, so be somewhat careful, I suppose. And just killed that one from a distance. But we can go through this now, which brings us back to the very quite nice looking ruined temple. Now, if we try to get that crossbow, it's going to open up a couple of buttons, one on each side. We're going to press each button once, because if we press one of the buttons twice, then we're in trouble. And I honestly don't remember which button it is, so press both buttons. It's going to open up a small doorway over there. Just going to heal up a little bit. There is a shadow sphere here, and if we walk further forward, it's going to close the door behind us like that. And yeah, this area is like super irritating light, so just have a torch ready for that and jump through the fake wall afterwards. Now, I think it's this button. Let's just try to press this one a couple times. This one basically lowers a platform or raises it slightly, but you can keep pressing it to raise it all the way up. You can cover the unholy symbol that is at the top of this church right here. So that's neat. There's also a semi-interesting thing related to that, but we'll get to that if we actually reach the end of this level, which I'm feeling a little bit more hopeful for, because we really did the most difficult part already. Gonna use one of these Tomes of Powers probably pretty soon, because why not? Not here though. There is a couple of disciples here. A couple of them are behind pillars, so they're not really gonna do much of anything until they actually manage to fly out of there. But if we sit around the corner like this, surprised they're not shooting so much, but fair enough. I'll allow it. We're just gonna take our time, kill all of them. There's a hell staff right there, but we can't quite pick it up just yet. We're close, but not quite. There is a fire gargoyle next to me. But our dragon claw can make quick work of all of that, fortunately. Let's just use a Tome of Power here, I suppose. That's probably alright. Let's just use it against these disciples waiting for us around the corner. Try to deal as much damage as possible. Let's just use a couple more flasks. Really, you get so many flasks in this episode, but it is kind of nice given what you're fighting, I suppose. And through the hallway, we go back into this room where now these platforms either side are going to slowly lower. So we can grab this hell staff, we can use it to ride all the way up and open up a couple more doors. A fire mace can spawn at the top here, so that is lovely. And there is a mystic urn waiting for us here as well. You can run into this and grab the shield that way, but this is a little easier. But pressing that button opened up a couple of doors over here with a bunch more fire gargoyles on each side. And now I need to remember where I'm actually supposed to go. I think it's this way. It doesn't really matter too much, I don't think, but I do like going in the right direction most of the time. So over here, we can actually just do a somewhat of a cool jumping puzzle to reach the end, because the end is at the end over there. But there's still a couple of kills we need to get, so we press this button instead to lower this door, which has a ring of invincibility, so that's very nice. And we can continue onwards through this hallway, where there is still a couple of enemies remaining. There is a bag of holding here, and a couple of more gargoyles. What fun! And a bunch more disciples waiting for us around the corner. Not really the scariest thing in the world at this point. I'm just going to use another Tome of Power, because why not? We should have gotten at least the amount that I've used without having to kill disciples for it, so hopefully I'm correct in saying that. And pressing this is going to show some more disciples again. Just going to use an egg on those, because we did find that somewhere and might as well use it on something. Kill the remaining ones, get a free dragon claw, And now pressing that button also opened up this door right here. And this is where I'm going to use my Ring of Invincibility, because we're just going to be fighting a lot more of these disciples. And using the Ring of Invincibility against them just makes life significantly easier. I can use some of the remaining hourglasses that I have as well to quickly dispatch the remaining things here. And I suppose I could also just use the Phoenix Rod if so desired, but this works out just fine with the amount of enemies that we are currently facing. And just like that, we should be just about done here. There is another flask here. There is a Wings of Wrath power-up. There's a torch. There is no more enemies alive, so honestly we're okay. And we can press this button on this pillar right here to, for one, lower the teleporter at the start. It also opens up this door with a Phoenix Rod behind it, so that's nice in case you still want one. And we can use this teleporter finally to go back to this area, which is kind of nice, I suppose. It's mostly just that it's somewhat close to the end of the level, and this can be a really fiddly jumping puzzle if you do not have Wings of Wrath at your disposal, which we do. So I'm just going to cheese it in a second. But first, I'm going to show off one more slight detail, which is if we fly with our torch active into the fake wall here, then this wall, I don't think actually has a back texture. Unfortunately, I failed to show it off because I forgot to press the other button, but just take my word for it. You can actually just kind of look through it. Now I'm a little annoyed, but let me just quickly do this one more time. Hopefully this flight power-up is just going to last long enough for me to show this off, otherwise I'm going to be in a pickle. But yeah, just looks a little unusual. That's the only thing I just wanted to show off real quick before we leave. Fortunately, Wings of Wrath last a very long time, so I can mess up in the silliest ways and still move about my business. But yeah, that's the hard level of episode 6. There's only one more level remaining, but this level is so pretty. And if it wasn't for the fact that it was just filled to the brim with Disciples of Despair like it is, it would be so good. But as it stands, it's somewhat tedious. It's just really irritating fights, honestly, where you just have to hide at the start due to just how many things there are. But fortunately, there's a way. It's very nice of the game to at least give you 6 hourglasses at the start and a way to get a Dragon Claw, because otherwise you are stuck with some methods that are not fun at all. And yeah, this is just kind of neat. But with that, we will be going to the last level of this episode, episode 6, mission 3, American's Legacy. Alright, final level, jumping down, grab the crossbow, kill some golems. Have a good time. There's not really that many enemies in this level. The previous 2 levels were really levels, whereas this level is, from what I understand, it was a Doom 2 map at one point that was for deathmatch, made by level designer American McGee, who then, I don't know if he actually made it for this as well. I actually don't fully understand. This level just sort of came to be, but I'm just gonna assume that's true. With that, just gonna kill all the things that we can here. Go up the elevator to kill a couple of gargoyles, but also to get a bunch of hourglasses, get some Phoenix Rod ammo. The fire mace can be on the other side of this window. Honestly not sure if you can grab it from this side, but it exists. And you can jump out of this window to get the Phoenix Rod. There is an Iron Lich currently waiting for us over here, so let's just take care of that. Couple of disciples, which are no problem at all because we have a Phoenix Rod to deal with them. Bunch of exploding barrels waiting for us over there, but we have our own explosions. They work pretty well together. And just a couple of undead warriors on the side there. All in all, not the scariest thing in the world. You can go up here using this. I'm not gonna bother. Don't worry about it. We can get a Hell Staff. There can be a Fire Mace right there in the damaging terrain, but I'd rather not because it is damaging terrain. We can press this button to lower this elevator, to then grab this egg if we so desire. I don't think you can lower that, no. But let's just kill the remaining enemies and call it a day, because this level does not actually have an exit. So our adventures do end here when we kill these remaining nitro golems. There is still, I believe, 2 more fire mace locations in it? No, 1 more fire mace location that I haven't shown off, and that's the one right up here. There you go. The last fire mace in our Heretic adventures. But yeah, this is just a deathmatch level with a bunch of enemies inside it. It's pretty neat, and it's probably a pretty fun level to play in deathmatch, and you could probably get the fire mace like this as well. But it's unfortunately a bit of an anticlimactic ending to our voyages. But it is what it is. I hope you've all enjoyed it, and the next time we play, we will be playing something else almost certainly. And I hope to see you all there. Bye bye.